If you enjoyed this video, consider joining Odysee, the freedom-respecting alternative to YouTube. Links in the description. Recently, the Mint team have been saying a lot about the problem of people not updating their systems, which honestly I think is something that most people are probably guilty of at some point or another, myself included. It really is just kind of easier to put off updating rather than actually doing it, but the Linux Mint team want to try and do something about this problem. Just over a month ago, the Mint team put out a blog post urging people to update their computers. In this post, they reveal only about 30% of users apply updates the week that they become available, and between 5 and 30% of users still run Linux Mint 17, which is out of support and quite old at this point. If I'm to hazard a guess why this is, I think in part it's because users don't want to update, probably because most of the people on Linux Mint are fresh from Windows and just generally scared of the update process because of how bad it is on Windows. But trust me, updating your system on Linux is nothing like Windows, it's vastly better. Another thing that I think contributes to the low adoption of updates is the fact that a lot of us Linuxy types give our friends and family members computers with Linux Mint on them without explaining how to update. And to be honest, I'm guilty of it too. People will want me to install Linux on their machine, so I'll just go ahead and install Mint and leave them to it without explaining updates or other similar things like that, such as the importance of updating. So my advice to people would be this: if you're going to install Linux on someone else's machine, make sure that you tell them about installing updates and the importance of installing updates. Also, probably even regularly check in with them to make sure that they are in fact updating. In fact, Linux Mint even has an auto update feature, so it might be wise to enable that before you set someone loose with Linux Mint. That's what I did with my most recent machine that I've installed Linux Mint on for someone else, and this person isn't very tech savvy, but they're not having any issues with it, and as far as I can tell, they are fully up to date. A few days after the first article on updates was released, Mint published their monthly news report. I won't go over the whole thing because a lot of it actually isn't relevant to what we're talking about, but a lot of it is. The Mint team are working on improvements to the Update Manager, which should in theory help users to stay up to date. The Update Manager will, in the near future, track certain metrics and be able to tell when users are skipping updates and remind them to apply those updates without being overly obnoxious like Windows method of updating. Now, a lot of people have raised concerns that this might mean that the Linux Mint team are starting to collect data on users. But to be honest, if it helps with something as important as keeping users' systems up to date, I'm actually okay with a little bit of telemetry. So long as the Mint team remain transparent about it, don't collect more than is needed, and don't share that data with anyone or try to sell it, and only if they make sure that that data is not personally identifiable. In fact, I even suspect that it would be possible to do this in such a way that that data doesn't leave the user's computer, which would be the best way to handle this. In conclusion to this rather short video, I would just like to give the Linux Mint team a round of applause for attempting to fix one of the biggest security problems facing their users right now. I know for a fact that a lot of developers probably would have just turned a blind eye to this and said, yeah, no, we're not helping here. It's the user's responsibility to update. But the Linux Mint team hasn't done that, and instead they've decided, you know what, we're actually going to do something about this, so huge round of applause to them. And to any users out there watching this video, I'd like to just give some advice. Make sure that you keep your system up to date. It is absolutely essential for your security. There are security fixes that are delivered through updates, and you need to make sure that those are installed on your system. And if you give any less tech-savvy people Linux computers, make sure that you educate them on the importance of updating. If not, enable automatic update on their computers. But with that said, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.